right, wonderful. I believe we are recording now, so welcome Redheads and other interested crypto folks to our first live event in, I think, quite some time. ReddCoin development team has been working our little hearts out in the background, but it's always a little hard to jump on camera here and report back. So if you've been following the updates and the publications we put out a short time ago, you'll be able to catch up. That's on our Medium channel, by the way. You'll be able to catch up with sort of where we've come and where we are, as well as a bit of where we're going. But John and I wanted to jump on video and speak directly as interactively as we possibly can with folks that choose to join. But speak directly to some of the questions about ReddCoin, where we are and what's being worked on, what's going on with the website, social media, promotion, things like that. We do have a fantastic community, but as we'll speak, it really does take a team effort between all of us to get what we're working on out there, to make it better and to make it worth working on. So with that, I would love to introduce to anybody that doesn't know, anybody new to the Redhead community, ReddCoin community, John Crypto Nasher Nash, my partner in crime and brother from another mother for the last, 10 years almost.
10 years, yeah.
Yep. John is our lead dev, as everybody knows. So, John, if you want to say hello, and we'll dive into it.
Well, thank you, Jay. Yes. Welcome, everybody. It's 2024. I cannot remember the last time we actually did a video stand-up, so it feels like eternity. We apologize for that, and we are trying to rectify that in the short term. With that said, lots of new stuff about to hit the web with ReddCoin and what we've been doing, and with that, pushing that out into the community and having the community to take it and run with it. So I guess the first point of call is, I guess, as you mentioned, Jay, we're relaunching the website. So updated information, fresh look, something that's a little bit more easier for us to manage from our side of things, so we can get relevant information posted more timely. It's almost a full circle as far as the platform we're running on. But that will be launched today while we're actually chatting to you. Everything is ready to go. So if you do check out www.reddcoin.com, you'll probably find it looks a little bit different. And if you find any deficiencies, any issues with that website, if you could just drop a note into, I guess Telegram is probably the best point at this stage of any issues found with the site, and we'll get those addressed as quickly as possible. But yes, we plan on flipping that over live as a part of this stand-up.
And as if I could interrupt for a second, just as John says that, I'm going to take that as my intimation. We should do that right now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that over as we're speaking. Nothing like a live cutover, but we'll see if we can make it work. So
yeah, well, we
back
dance
to you, John, while I fiddle with things in the background.
Good luck. No, it's all fine. It's these relatively, dare I say, straightforward changes. So anyway, the other part of the this discussion is what's happening on the development front. The prime push of development has been getting ReddCoin Core out to everybody, and a bunch of things have actually taken place to make that happen. So our current live production version for ReddCoin is out. There's signed binaries up on the download site. They will be also available from a link within the website. The version is 4.22.8. It's our production version. We've spoken about it before about what we've been working on, but I'm certainly happy to go through that list again. So version 4 is based on Bitcoin version 22 at this point. And the goal there was to bring our code base up, from ancient history almost into something a little bit more modern. And additionally, also including some new stuff that you won't see in most core wallets. And the core wallet typically supports HD wallets, BIP32, but we've also included BIP39 and BIP44. So BIP39 HD wallets support the seed phrases, anywhere between 12 and 24 seed words that you can use as a seed for the wallet, and that'll allow you to restore your wallet in any other supporting wallet type. So any other wallet that supports BIP39 and ReddCoin, you'll be able to import those keys or export those keys from the wallet and have access to your coins. And BIP44 is typically used as a crypto wallet that supports multiple different cryptocurrencies. So they separate the different currencies. Things like Koinomi is a typical one where ReddCoin can show up against other coins, and we also support that so that you can import or export your wallet Koinomi to the core wallet, again using seed phrases and whatnot. And to make that whole task a little bit easier, we've included a import, export, or actually a create or restore wallet wizard, which is also something a little bit new compared to other wallets, really to make that a little bit easier particularly for novices in crypto, to step through the process of creating and backing up seed phrases and making sure it all works. Some other interesting things we've got in the wallet is multi-wallet staking. So previously, the wallet, ReddCoin wallet, only supported one wallet. Now we can load multiple wallets. So if you have different uses, you might have your core funds in one wallet, and you may have a separate wallet to contain tips, for example, or income, and you want to separate out those two. But you can actually, the wallet will support having multiple. So part of my testing, I can have 10 or 20 wallets loaded for various testing scenarios. And you can step through each of those. It'll show you a balance on the balance tabs and staking probability and such. Additionally, supporting multiple wallets, we also support multiple wallet staking. So instead of just being able to stake against a primary wallet, we can stake any wallet, basically open up a wallet and then assign that for staking. The process is pretty straightforward from the GUI. We've tried to make that relatively easy to instigate, saving settings and things to the settings file, so that when you start up again, those settings that allow it to stake, to make that a little bit easier, and visible also. So there's some new icons on the bottom of the wallet that will show the staking status of the wallet and staking status of the entire overall wallet. Overall node that's controlling each of those wallets. What else is new? We have a staking probability tab that will list all your current UTXOs and the time frame that's expected for a stake to occur. So it gives you a bit of an estimation of, if you have 10 ReddCoins, how long is that going to take you to stake at the current network rate versus having 1 million ReddCoins. So it just gives you a little bit of an idea of how many coins you need to have in order to stake within a what you think is a reasonable time. If you think staking once a day or once an hour or once a week is sufficient, then that staking probability tab will help you determine that. We've shifted a few of the information screens around a little bit on the new wallet. Previously, staking information used to be a little pop-up hover information box. That's now been moved to its own tab in the wallet. So again, I think it's accessible from the status bar. If you right-click on there, you can see open up the staking information. You can also get it from the menu. We also have some hyperlinks in the help menu to look at going off to some of our social media sites, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or whatever the case may be. I'm trying to think of what else is on there. I think that's it. That's probably the main features I've got, apart from some of the blockchain information we've been modifying to bring us forward to support some of the new address types like SegWit. And that's really sort of a step of why we haven't gone straight to 23 or 24 or 25 of Bitcoin. Is we're taking an intermediate step to get our network to a certain point, so that once we've moved everybody to that, then we can start looking to the future to use some of the newer versions of Bitcoin to roll into. I think that's the primary thing from the core wallet that's been going on. Like I said, it is available. The binaries are signed, so for those who are looking for signed binaries on Apple Mac or Windows, that is there for you. And the next version coming up will be 4.22.9, which is currently being worked on, which is sweeping up a few little bugs that we've caught, and they're being tested at the moment. That's still going to be several weeks away, because we're trying to roll in some bigger stuff too, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Some feedback we've had from others on nice to haves, so that people can take that new usability and make it more user friendly. I think that's it for the core wallet. For the other developments been going on, one thing that we've all been looking at over many years is what social media sites to be integrated in with, and with recent changes on Twitter and Reddit particularly, and the API access has made it more difficult for the average user to use their APIs. We've made a bit of a shift towards some of the decentralized networks that are around, such as what most people would say was Mastodon, but ActivityPub, Blue Sky, and Matrix is the other one that comes to mind, along with Nostr. So those four particular social media sites we're taking a very close look at. In fact, more than close, we're actually starting the integration with those networks, so that we sort of take that whole approach of supporting what we are, a decentralized network. So looking at social media sites that are not run by centralized entities, which some people may be aware they don't have access to their tipbot information anymore, because the API has been cut off by those entities. Having decentralized social media sites such as Mastodon and the others that I mentioned, we can now control access. So there's no central person who can prevent you from integrating in with those networks. And we've started making some good inroads in with Mastodon, and basically we're taking that that centralized approach to a tipbot that everybody's quite familiar with, where you need to run a core wallet along with some code to act as the bot in that case, the tipbot. We've actually removed the centralized wallets, and there is no wallet at all. We're using some distributed networking in the background, so that people will communicate with the back end through existing services such as Electrum. So there's no core wallet to interface with, and we can query the network via that method, as well as sending those transactions. It's going to operate a little bit differently. Decentralized is not an easy trick, because that whole notion of sending coins from one person to another without having a tipbot sitting in the middle holding funds temporarily does change that dynamic a little bit. And having that slick user experience is going to be key. There's going to be a trade-off between how it's achieved and what's the technology that we're going to use for that. But we're making some good inroads there already. Pretty happy with the way it's going. The development slowed down a little bit while I was trying to get the last bits of the core wallet done, but now that that's kind of put to bed, we're going to be turning our attention back to that and completing those activities so that we can start testing it and making it as bulletproof as possible. And again, the key function there is preventing people from losing access to their coins, which has occurred on Twitter, for example. While we control that wallet, it's not going anywhere. We need to now find a secure way of getting those funds back to people as well, so that the correct claimants for the coins can get them back. That's going to take a little bit of time to sort out. And from there, as well as everybody talks about Red ID and when's that going to get done. That will follow. So the steps in the process are getting core wallet done, get social media tipping happening, and then integrating an ID system into that process to make that whole ability to tip between social media channels as seamless as possible. And while we've always envisaged doing that directly in the ReddCoin blockchain, we've also looked at some of the existing technologies that have evolved, and there's some there that actually, are quite interesting for us to look at and using those as opposed to being ReddCoin. I think that's the best approach here is having a universal ID system that carries through, so people aren't just locked into the ReddCoin network for identification, but rather can look at a more broader ecosystem, particularly when we're looking at having other decentralized networks involved, such as Matrix and Blue Sky. Those ID systems need to work across the borders, so to speak. So the approach that we think is the correct way of doing is for us to integrate ReddCoin into those distributed systems, as opposed to us creating our own ID system, which we have to integrate in with us. So that's kind of where we're at. So those three things are our core focus. Red Mobile is another application that we also started working on, and then just put to the side. Again, trying to get core wallet up and done, slow that process down. But Red Mobile is also a key part of that ecosystem, being a lot of people interact with the World Wide Web and crypto via their mobiles as opposed to using desktop computers. So a few things to consider there, but that actually in the scene of making crypto transactions, tipbot transactions on a mobile is actually probably more easier than it is doing it via Windows or a Mac. It's just the technology there in mobiles a little bit more forgiving in that sense. So that's probably the development update. Core wallet's out. Please download it, start using it. I think you'll like it. I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions about it, how to use it. It will work with your current wallet, and I'm going to do another video on this part as well, and actually do a walkthrough. While it will work on your current wallet, for protection of your coins and making easier backups, it's probably better to import your old wallet and generate a new wallet and transfer your funds. That way you can have a recovery password or key seed phrase that you can restore your funds with, as opposed to backing up a file. I think for the short-term pain of doing that migration will give you, a much safer feeling down the track, that if you ever have a problem with your hard drive failing, or forgot your to do a backup, you just restore your seed phrase and you'll have your funds back once it's rescanned. So I think it's worthy of doing a walkthrough, and so a video presentation of a walkthrough and how to import a wallet and create a new wallet and transfer funds around. I think it's be a good tutorial. So yeah, that's it from me from the development side of things. I know we put out a Q&A or request for some questions and answers, and that's part of what this call was about, was to do a Q&A. I got a bunch from, thank you, Doug. I got a bunch from you to go through. Didn't see any others, but if anybody wants to throw some questions, if somebody's watching the channel, they can certainly ask. But I'll go through your list there and
If I
answer.
may, before we dive into that, John, I just
Sure.
wanted to say a couple of things and underline a couple of things that you'd said while I was working feverishly on the website here. Definitely, we as a community kind of live or die depending on with the involvement of the redheads and everybody else. It's not just what John and I are doing. It really is collaboration and taking that stuff and understanding it, poking holes in it, sharing it with other community members, and really helping us to make it better. And to that end, I would extend the invitation. We've now turned our website live. If you go to www.redcoin.com, you'll see a slight difference, including the fact that our roadmap is now essentially up to date with all the stuff that we've done. We have a partners page. We have a news page that doesn't seem to be published properly just yet, but I'll get that up momentarily. In general, that website should now be the sort of central update point and source for all of our information as we go down the road. And as John pointed out, there is a lot going on sort of behind the scenes, and to make things work the way that they should, as much as people are interested in understanding that, in helping, in pitching in, whatever your skill set might be, every redhead is welcome to put their hands into our pie and, help us make something fantastic. It really just takes raising your hand or asking or, otherwise letting us know you'd like to. And to that end, there's some great, dedicated, passionate folks in our community that have been working steadily along with John and I. I don't know if it's fair to try and call people out by name. I'm going to say collectively, and perhaps we'll spotlight some of those folks as we go on. We do intend, after some extensive discussions, to make this a much more regular occurrence. You can see the dev team, what we're doing, what we're working on, and hear us talk. So hopefully, as John said, we'll get some more walkthroughs for the wallet and things like that out shortly. But also look for live events, and please do engage and bring your questions and thoughts and complaints and aggravation. We're here to interact and let you know what's going on. But really, it takes a village, takes a community. As far as the website goes, if anybody sees any problems with that, feel free to either share them in Telegram or we'll have to create a structure for that, I believe, as far as maybe putting it back in GitHub. But for the moment, it is a work in progress. Any issues that are noted, we can correct them. And that's been a problem with our website right along, that we had limited access until we did this massive sort of forklift switchover to make changes in an easy fashion. So website will be kept updated with new developments, new announcements, any news that's fit to print, you will see there, and we'll be sharing that as well. And take a look at our blog, which is populated with extensive archived articles, all the stuff we've written on our other blogs and other channels since the dawn of ReddCoin is on there. So please take a look, maybe learn something, and join us in the adventure. So that's our website content. We will be getting back to that at some point. But for the moment, as John said, we do have a list of questions here that inquiring minds want to know. I think we talked
And before
Go ahead, John. I'll turn it back to you.
Remembered that I wanted to throw to everybody who's listening that one of the ways that people can get involved with ReddCoin is going to our GitHub. So our GitHub account, ReddCoin projects. If you follow some of the projects in there by just clicking on the star, it's basically a follow, you'll get email announcements and things as we're making changes and updates. It is a good way, of getting involved even at that level to get some feedback from what are we doing, and you may see things in there that you can rectify or fix or identify that need to be fixed, and be involved that way. So every little bit does help. So I'll talk a little bit about that as we go through this list of questions, because one of them is kind of around that. So let us kick off on the Q's, and I'll give the A's to those points. So first one I got here is, what's the current #1 goal of the development team? I guess it's hard to say what's the primary goal, because there's always a lot of goals in development, and in a project as large as what we are, it's hard saying the primary goal is just this, because it's not just one particular thing. I think being readily active is probably, from a development point of view, is probably my number one goal, and demonstrate that. And if to use GitHub as an example, if you're following the ReddCoin project, where the core wallet is, you will see that there's lots of updates occur. Probably not every day, but certainly weekly. There's activity there of issues being raised, mainly by me as I find things, or being reported to me, along with fixes that go along to that. We're also maintaining a project file, a project plan for the core wallet, and along with each of the sub-release, or when we do a sub-release, and I spoke about 4.22.9, any issues that have been identified, they get put into that plan so that people can look at that. But for the overall, what's the number one goal? I think that what has to go back to what's ReddCoin's mantra, and that's to be the social currency. Our current goal is to keep maintaining that. We have to develop product that is or surrounds that whole mantra. Core wallet's part of that, but also developing the applications that support social media has to be a part of that goal. That's without that development taking place, then we're not what we say we are. So that's how I'd answer it from a development team's point of view. What's our current goal? Our current goal is to be active and be creating product around social media so that people can integrate and interface with us through that.
If I could just add to a little bit to that, just to let people in the community sort of know that it's not just a technical effort that we're doing here. A large part of what I do during the day is outreach to other folks in the space, and discussions and conversations and sort of collaboration in various ways that's meant to bring ReddCoin to people's attention, to say, this is a solution that would work for microtransactions in the app that you're building or on your platform, or as a complementary technology to some of the other projects that I'm affiliated with. There is a lot of outreach that happens really just to keep the ReddCoin name and technology and capability out there. And that's something that our entire community can help with as well. We do get a lot of informal, hey, we'd like ReddCoin here, usually exchanges or wallets or things like that. But everybody that is in the community has thoughts, I'm sure, of, hey, wouldn't it be cool if ReddCoin was here? It's that sort of brainstorming and making connections and building bridges that really gets us some of the opportunities that we have to bring ReddCoin to people's attention. That involves everybody out there. Anybody that's got a thought of, hey, it'd be cool if ReddCoin was used to pay for this or to tip on that, or a conversation we're having with a mobile game publisher at the moment. They know a ton about games and nothing about blockchain. The blockchain's less important than the digital payment aspect of it, but that's another example of bringing that out there over and over and over again. Eventually somebody will, adopt it and push it out there, and we'll have one more partner on the books to show what ReddCoin can do. That's separate from the technology efforts and the work that primarily John, but obviously the entire team does together to move the technology forward and deal with the problems and the issues and make sure that we're safe and secure. That sort of outreach is something that anybody that's interested can either do on their own for ReddCoin, or if you want to do it as part of the team, please let us know. That's the softer skills that help us sort of build those bridges and communicate with people and let them know we do have a fantastic solution for certain use cases. It's all about, making sure that we're being seen as validly and as authentically as we can, because we don't have the money presently to pay for promotion, to pay for journalism and marketing and the rest of it. So that's what we can do at the moment. And it does bear rewards. It definitely does. So if any of that makes sense to redheads out there and you have thoughts towards that end, where ReddCoin should be and what it should be in and how do we do that. And please reach out, speak up. Let's do it together. Just wanted to throw that out there because it definitely takes more than just the folks working on the team.
Yeah, and I think the other part too is it's hard to say, as I said, one specific goal of what we're, the development team is working on, because unfortunately the project is of such a size that you need to work on multiple things at the same time just to make one thing work. But that's the challenge of what we do. It's not a single product that we're working with. It's a whole ecosystem. So which brings me to the next question: what is the current plan to accomplish that goal? So I spoke a little bit about during the development talk of having the core wallet done. Now moving on to the decentralized tipbot, and that will then touch upon the 4 different networks I mentioned. So ActivityPub or Mastodon, Matrix, Blue Sky, and Nostr. Each one of those particular things, you could say make a decentralized tipbot is the primary goal, but there's so many pieces of that puzzle to actually complete. We're actually working on the Mastodon one at the moment because we do have a Mastodon server set up for the ReddCoin team. So that's where our focus is at the moment, is to get that up and working as a proof of concept and take it through from proof of concept through to product, so that then we can switch across to the next social media platform and have that integration working. Time frame wise was the next question around that. What sort of time frame is expected? Developer will always say, how long is a bit of string? Because there's so many moving pieces in this bit. Now the core wallet's put to bed, and I'm having less focus on that, so to speak. More focus on the tipbot side of things. I'm hoping in the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks to actually have something up and running and to a public beta / proof of concept staging, so that people can start trying that out. So what's the day today? 23rd of March, going by my clock. So yeah, we're probably looking at end of April, mid-May type of time frame to be seeing that. Love to do it faster. So many other bits that have to consider as well, but that's kind of where I'm sort of edging towards.
Hey, if folks want to pitch in, it'll happen faster.
Absolutely. There is a lot to consider, and one of the challenges to that too is 4 different networks. That's 4 different APIs that you have to be familiar with. I'm familiar with none of them. I'm actually learning what other APIs are available and taking my programming knowledge and applying it to it. Each one of those networks will operate differently, and we're going to try and have a tipbot that runs similar for all those networks, so that somebody jumping onto one platform or the next platform will have a similar user experience. So there's a fair bit of mechanics to consider in that setup. Not only that, from an API point of view, they use different technologies, so there's a bit to achieve to make this to work. So one step at a time. ActivityPub I am familiar with. I've played around with that at least enough to know what happens there. The other ones will follow once we're satisfied. And who are the developers working on that goal? Well, I'm primarily the one at the moment. If anybody wants to get involved, more than happy to have those discussions with people to have a go and throw their thoughts. And well, I need less thought, and I need actually more action. We get lots of thought. Yep. We don't get too much action. That's
and just to make a comment, if anybody feels intimidated, you're not skilled enough, you're not X enough, whatever it is, this is a learning experience for everybody in this space. As John is humble enough to admit, it's an ongoing learning experience as they come out with new APIs and new features and new tech. We're all constantly learning. Don't feel intimidated that you don't know everything. Exactly. Bring your willingness to learn if you know nothing, and you'll benefit from it. Really, it's for me at least, it's been 13 years in this space of constantly learning. I see no sign of that stopping. I know enough to be dangerous. Yeah. So absolutely, people are welcome, and that's how we build the team. Don't hesitate. Reach out if you want to help.
I'd have to say, if people aren't learning in this space, there's probably not the space for you to be in.
It's true.
You think about cryptocurrency over the last 10 years. ReddCoin's been in it for 10 years. It's changed dramatically. You look at the different technologies and blockchain technologies that are out there now. It's amazing. There's a lot of stuff for people to get involved in. Another question: what can the community do to assist in accomplishing or accelerating the goals? Well, I guess we've touched on that a little bit in different ways, but I think for the main part is having community engagement. It's fine to sit there and read comments and things and go, yep, thumbs up, I love that, I love ReddCoin. But I think we actually need the engagement. Is probably where the community could really fall. If you're not technically savvy or you don't know how to do particular things, or you're worried that you don't have the smarts to get involved at that level, just that engagement. The old share, like, and follow is a big step into getting that information out there. This video will go online and get uploaded, in the coming days. Pushing that out there and pointing people to, hey, these guys are trying to achieve decentralized tipbot. I've never heard anybody try and do that. It's a talking point in itself of like how's that being changed, or how's that going to be accomplished. That's one thing that the community can do. And I know, at least on Telegram, everybody's getting involved with different aspects of, clicking the like button and things like that for, promoting our coin. But part of that, with platforms like X and even YouTube and sorry, any of the platforms that allow you sharing content, Facebook even, doing a thumbs up or giving a like or a love heart or whatever, as silly as what it does sound for mature people like myself, the algorithms that go into those products thrive on people's interactions. So if you click something, open up, every one of those sessions, every one of those interactions is recorded and become a part of that algorithm, and identify content that's interesting and promote that. So the more that people are engaged in the content that we push out there, and I know our team, Kay and Hans, doing a great job in pushing that information out to Twitter and Facebook. Without that, the engagement goes down because there's nothing to actually look at. But as this information goes out there and people do share it, that's what will help bring more people to the project, or maybe turn an eye or an ear to what we're doing. Anything to add on that one, Jay?
Oh, no, I can only underline what you said. I don't really have anything to add. It is exactly that. And we've said it for years. You can sit back and wait for something to happen. The price will do this or that, or you can reach out and make it happen, put in a little effort and, be part of the overall combined sort of love that drives this project. The only difference between John and I and everybody sitting out there is we put a little effort in. That's it. We stepped up. We said, okay, we're going to do this. Each and every one of you can do that in little ways, just by liking, sharing, following, commenting on social media, or taking it into your head. I want to do X, Y, or Z and make ReddCoin. That's what drives us. It really is. It's nothing more than that. And I do want to speak to the last question we've got is, what is the big picture direction of ReddCoin? We'll get to that in a couple of questions. But we do have some firm ideas there. It is not, to take over the world and replace Bitcoin and Facebook. It's a little more humble and approachable and achievable than that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We are no better than the weakest chain in our community, or the weakest link in our community. So if you're sitting back and waiting for things to happen, that's never going to do it. You need to help. You need to be part of this, or we'll never get there.
I think I always like that old saying is that be the change.
Exactly. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's they're simple things, but I think what brought me to just to share. When I first got involved in ReddCoin back in the day, I was I won't say naive, but I liked the idea of what they were trying to do, and I was along for everybody else. I was mining the coin. I was engaged on this. Reddit was probably the most busy point at that stage. Actively engaged with the community, sharing and doing all the stuff, chatting with the original developers, and at that time there was a lot of requests on the development team to make this. You need to do that. You need lots of help from the community on what they should be doing. Very little help from the community on doing the things that needed to be done. And I kind of got to the point where it's like, well, I got enough skills. I think I could probably help out here, and introduce myself to the team. And went, where do I start? And they said, it was kind of start wherever you want. What are you good at? And jump in and have a look at. And the ramp up was a little bit slow because there's a lot of stuff to learn at that time. But then here I am, 10 years later, and still involved. Not going anywhere. Loving what we're trying to achieve, and trying to achieve what we want to love. That's where I am. And I hope
that's a great way to put it.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. I was going to say it's for all those sayings that it's crazy what they are sometimes. That are a bit weird to say at times. It really is. Your best solution in life is just get out there and do it. Waiting for somebody to fix your problem takes far longer than you fixing the problem.
Absolutely. And there's no risk in stepping up and trying, and maybe you fail, maybe you don't, maybe you contribute something awesome that wouldn't have happened without you. That's happened a number of times in this project and elsewhere. And yep. Working, in the space and getting your hands dirty in a project like ReddCoin is a great experience if you want to continue on as a programmer, as a member of projects. So, hey, if nothing else, use this as a stepping stone. We're not averse to that
too over the years, where people have come in with ideas. We've helped them and nurtured them, and they kind of got up and going. And whether it was successful or not, it's beside the point. It gave them enough skills to get involved elsewhere and grow themselves. So it is, I guess we're a great incubator.
Absolutely. I think we've covered 5, 6, and 7 in that answer.
Pretty much, yeah. So let's talk about number 8 then, which is it possible to have regular scheduled updates and live team content? So a bit of a long question, but I think it all sort of says the same thing, that content that the community can tune into for up-to-date information or ongoing organized efforts to improve community awareness and growth through an informed, aware, and up-to-date educated community. I guess bottom line is, couldn't agree more, and apologies for not doing it. Jay and I often talk, I rephrase that. Jay and I regularly talk, and, we talk at least once a week as part of what we're doing. Should we be doing that with the community as well? Absolutely. Just like we're doing now, and we run through periods of doing that. We had a run of that on Telegram several months ago, and then, life got busy for one of us or the other one of us, and, it's like we can't make it this week, and it falls off. And to be quite honest, the challenge for doing regular events, while it's easy, it's easy to set up and record it and go, is life's events do get in the way. And it's not an excuse for not doing it. I think Jay and I will both, very candidly say, look, we love doing it. The challenge was keeping that momentum going for us. We're developing and we're trying to keep the community going. Again, not an excuse, just trying to explain what goes on, the reality of what goes on. I guess the bottom line is we will make a concerted effort to keep trying to make these live presentations and recordings going so that people can be updated. And part of that will be education, particularly from my side, with doing some walkthroughs on the wallet, since this stuff is all new, and as newer stuff comes along, and also probably doing shorter. You know, we're pushing nearly an hour at the moment. We're probably doing shorter stand-ups of just doing community updates for wanted more information.
Absolutely. If I can add to that, definitely just again echoing what John said. It's definitely an effort to be made to make that outreach and have these events on a regular basis. As long as redheads and community members are interested in what we've got to say, and there's some value here, we're absolutely happy to do it. It's part and parcel of sort of moving the work forward. Obviously, is documenting it and reporting it and getting it out and getting feedback, and that's really the important part of this. So if we commit as a team, we will be doing regular events and live interactions such as this. We would only ask that everybody out there take a moment to think about what we're saying and doing and delivering, and give us the benefit of your thoughts, your response, even if it's, hey, I hate this, how come we haven't gone to the moon yet? It's that interaction, show us you're alive, show us you care, show us we're doing it all together for a reason. And we can commit to doing it, creating that kind of content and walkthroughs and the rest of it. It really is a lot of effort to put out there. We want to make sure that we're putting our effort, limited as it might be, in the right areas. So there is a lot of give and take that we need. We need the community engaged just as much as you need us.
Share, like, and follow. That's all I will say.
Exactly. Share, like, follow, talk, question, and yeah, absolutely. And to our credit, we haven't gone anywhere. We're not going anywhere. It's an awesome little project that we've got here. And taking well, actually, not a jump. We're on to that last question. The question was phrased as, what is the big picture direction of ReddCoin? What's our mission in the current Web3 ecosystem? Basically, what is our current specific niche marketplace that we're working to capture or fill for consumers that's driving marketing strategy and community outreach? Just as a side note, I think these questions mostly came from Doug, and thank you, Doug, for your time there and asking us. The answer to that question, in my opinion, and I'll obviously happy to throw it to John to answer on his behalf, but the big picture of ReddCoin is fairly straightforward. ReddCoin is a utility payment system that allows for people to be rewarded for their creations. What we focused on is bringing that out to the world as an alternative to companies saying, I'll hold your wallet, I'll take care of it, trust us. It's that same response that created Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest of the crypto world to we don't want to trust other people with our funds, with our assets, with our future, with our property, sort of collectively as human beings. That's what the crypto space began as. ReddCoin is in my opinion, is a customized version of that same need aimed at the digital world that we all live in. That need is still there. The need to be able to be paid for what you're putting out there in a way that doesn't take fees, that can't be censored, that can't be stopped easily. That's really what our niche is. It's not taking over the world and replacing all the money and all the dollars and all. That's not realistic, and nobody thinks that is possible at all. I've always seen, and I think John is on the same page, that ReddCoin exists as an additional channel, as a way to sort of ensure safety of your needs, but not necessarily disrupting and tearing out and destroying the things that are out there, simply sitting alongside it as an alternative. And that's really what we've built towards, that it's a tool that you can use much as you use Zelle or PayPal or checks or a dollar bill. It's simply intended to be a faster digital version of those sort of tools without being everything to everyone. And there are some fantastic sort of aspects of the tech that lend itself to reinforce that, the staking aspect, the fact that it is eco-friendly, and all the buzzwords that we talk about in promoting it. But fundamentally, it's a very simple, we need to get paid for the things we're putting out on the internet, and we're not. So that's, in my mind, the niche that we fit. It fits very nicely into microtransactions, into online gaming, and those sorts of things. And as I said before, I'm actually in conversations with a game publisher who came to us and said, we'd like to get into cryptocurrency. You seem to be the best fit. That conversation, for anybody out there running a project or working on your own thing that thinks that ReddCoin might be a fit, that microtransaction, micro payment, low fee, fast moving kind of, we want to hear from you. We want to partner with you. We want to support your ability to put ReddCoin and our beautiful, colorful logo everywhere and anywhere that it makes sense. But if you're not in our community and you're seeing this video, or you are in our community and you're building something, please reach out. That's the sort of partnership that makes sense to us. So that's really, in my mind, sort of a capsule version. It's a perfect option to complement things like, as John mentioned, is part of our strategic goal of the Fediverse and Mastodon and these other decentralized, no single point of control kind of systems being built that allow you to link your identity and your history and your actual digital life in a way that you control. ReddCoin should really be an option there for that digital identity, and that's really what we're building towards, without taking fees, without being a middleman, without controlling that payment action. And I don't think that there is another project or another effort out there besides maybe Bitcoin that really has that goal in mind. Not make money at from all the traffic on social media, we could take 10%. That's the business model of what's out there. We're trying to turn that on its head and not only not take that fee from them, that cut from the traffic, but give it back to the users who are running the network. That's what drives me. That's what I see as the solution that we're really trying to move towards, in a way that gives people the power to control their own funds, whether it's ReddCoin or Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it is. Long-winded answer, but I think that should add a little light to what we're really moving towards. It's not meant to be just another wallet and just another service. There are thousands of them out there. We're trying very much to be different, and I think that's what makes us special. John?
Better myself.
Ditto.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's all the questions that we've got from people. And again, Doug, appreciate the thought that you put into those ones there. There's a bunch of great queries that I guess a lot of people, would also be saying the same sort of thing. So appreciate your input there. So, and I think Jay, with that, I think we've been at this for a tad on an hour. Let's think about winding it up, and just that somebody's gonna have to go through all this and chop it all up now.
Yeah, actually, I will do that. We'll get that posted as quickly as we can. Again, I'm thrilled that there are tools out there, AI based and such, that let you take a video, run it through, and get a summary. So again, if anybody wants to help with those sort of daily operations, that's the stuff we're talking about. We can create these videos. Then they, as John said, need to be chopped up and shared and illustrated, and always work to do. And if you ask, hey, how come you're not getting stuff done? We are. There's just a lot of tasks to do. And, it's fun, it's rewarding, but it's also a grind. And the fact is, the more help that we get, the faster we can make progress. If not, we will keep our heads down, nose to the grindstone, and keep going. I do agree with what John said. I think we will make an effort to make this at least a weekly, bi-weekly, something active that we can engage on a regular basis. I would also like to do some stuff on LinkedIn as well. I think that's a fertile ground for promoting what we're doing. So we'll probably look to do a LinkedIn live event at some point in the near future. And we had talked about doing a ReddCoin Partner Expo with all of our various partners in the space, and give them some exposure and share ReddCoin with their audiences as well. If we can get some time and organization around that, we will shoot to bring that to life maybe next month. And other than that, we're doing what we can. We're still surviving, which is a milestone in this space. And frankly, it's a very exciting time, I think, to be in crypto as we're transitioning from the earliest of days to there's actually some future to this space and it's becoming commercial. And I feel the excitement just turning up. And obviously we see prices rising with that excitement. So thank you all for being part of this adventure and this journey. John, did you have any closing thoughts?
Only to say, it's exciting. It's maturing in the minds of normal folks. So, that's a big thing. We've ridden multiple waves in the last 10 years. Sometimes the waves are bigger, sometimes they're smaller, but we have a boat, we are sailing, and we have some direction. Come join us for the ride.
Exactly. All right, fantastic. Thanks, folks, for taking the time to listen. We will get this stuff transcribed and published and into the various channels for those who don't want to take the time to watch an hour video. Tend to be right there with you. And thanks, Doug and Kay, and a special shout out to Roni for subsidizing our X.com blue check for the ReddCoin username. I will point out it seems like feeding into Mr. Musk's verified program on Twitter, X, actually is giving us some improved visibility and metrics. So again, like, share, echo, comment. The more visibility we have, the more likelihood that people will join and build, and that's how we keep things growing and rolling. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Redheads. Everybody keep staking, and we will talk to you next week.